Hi guys, Michael Abdul Malik here. Welcome back to my channel. It's amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for the support that you've shown me, and I really appreciate the journey that we're moving together. I spoke to some guys last week and they told me, keep doing what you're doing. This has motivated me to want to start rearing chicken. This has motivated me to start growing vegetables even on my balcony. So I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing here, just to put out the word there that, hey, we are youth, and this is what we can do with the tiny space that we have, and this is what we can do with the resources that we have, and this is what we can do as youth in general to help change the world that we're living in. Amazing, cool. So today it's very interesting because I'll be speaking about weeding, weeds, and to some, weeds are actually good. To others, weeds are bad. For me, weeds are good because I will let them grow and then I'll pick them up and feed them to the chicken. So it depends from where you're sitting. Again, you don't want your weeds to grow too much because they can choke your crops, and at the end of the day, you have stunted growth for your crops. So today we'll be talking about weeds. Stay put. Karibu tena guys, Michael Abdul Malik here from the Country Farm. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your subscription. Na kama bado just subscribe, just show us some love. Hit the subscription button. Share this with your friends. Hit the like button. Just hit the notification bell. Let us know in the description. Let us know in the comment section what you want to see more, what you don't want to see, and we can make this channel a success. Amazing. So we have, and I have prepared 4 techniques for weeding. Okay. So one, on to the first without any further ado, is hand weeding. So hand weeding is one of the oldest techniques for weeding, and for me it is the most effective technique for weeding because you're involved in just grabbing the weeds by the hand, shaking them and putting them aside either for compost or as green manure. And this has proven to me as the most effective tool because I can hand weed either bending, I can hand weed either on my knees, I can just go with my bucket or my nylon sack, collect the weed, either compost it, feed the chicken as well because I feed my chickens with a lot of weeds and it's a delicacy they like, and also just leave them on the shamba, just take them and leave them at another place of the shamba as green manure. So hand weeding is one of the best techniques to use, and what you need for this is you need gloves. Okay, if you trust your hands not to use gloves, well and good. The other thing that you need is you need tools. Okay, so either a weeding knife, tools, or a small shovel to make sure that whenever the weeds are stuck by the roots, you can be able to prop them out and remove them easily. So again, what you need to understand is if you do not remove weeds by the roots, tendencies of them sprouting back are very high. Okay, so just try and pull out the whole root, shake off the soil so it does not grow where you're going to take it, be it compost or be it on green manure. Hand weeding is very effective, especially for small scale farmers or farmers with just small pieces of land that they use for growing crop, like myself and probably a few thousand of you that are watching. So that's hand weeding. So the second technique for weeding that I want to share with you today is the use of mulching. So I'm going to combine this with mulching and the use of nylon papers, or something to cover the shamba, and only the crop remains on top. So be it plywood, be it nylon paper, be it PVC boards or PVC papers, just to cover out everything apart from the crop. And what this does is it ensures that all the crops that are not above the soil do not photosynthesize. And we know what happens to crops if they don't photosynthesize. They eventually wilt and die. And this is a very good way of controlling weeds. If you don't want to get your hands dirty, and if you do not want to be on the shamba hoeing and removing weeds by your hands, that's it. And mulching as well. So you can mulch with wood chips. You can mulch with dry leaves. You can mulch with dry weeds. You can mulch with dry crops that have been that the crop has been removed, like rice straws, wheat straws as well. Just put it on top, and it's a very good measure, a very good method as well of controlling loss of moisture. So you find that if it's not the rainy season and you're watering your crops, this mulching will also help not only in controlling weeds, but also in making sure that the crops retain a lot of moisture instead of it evaporating, especially now that it's December going to January. It's going to be hot, crazy degrees, like 35, 36. I think right now it's around 32 degrees Celsius, and going into January probably hit 38 or 40. That's the second technique, mulching, and the use of those PVC papers to control weeds. So the third technique, which I would not really recommend, is the use of chemical sprays, or the typical weed spray or weed killers. So what this does is the chemical sprays will kill the weed, and somehow will get to the crop as well. And the poison, or what happens with the chemical sprays is the weeds will absorb it, and the poison will just kill the crop. Somehow, because there is wind, there is aspects of uncontrolled weather, these chemicals that you're spraying will probably go onto the crops, the good crops, and probably stick on the leaves, or even be absorbed to the stem or to the whole plant system, and eventually this will be consumed by you, which will have a ripple effect in your health. Keeping in mind you're eating vegetables every day of your life, you can imagine what kind of chemicals you take in every day. You see very green crops, very green leaves of spinach or collard greens, and you say, very healthy crops. But is it grown in standards that would not jeopardize your health? So I would not recommend this, although if you do this, it's totally on you. It's one of the techniques for for controlling weeds, again, it dilapidates the soil. It helps in killing the soil, if I would say that, because what it happens is when this poison gets to the soil, it kills the microorganisms in the soil, and the soil now becomes unhealthy. You try to plant a crop and nothing grows. You try to do grow any crop in that soil, nothing comes. Because the soil is dead. There's nothing there to make the crops survive. So that's a third technique, which is not recommended by Country Farm or myself. But if you use it, okay, well and good. It's on you. For me, I want to make sure that I live a sustainable life where the earth is healthy, and the crops are healthy, and the people who eat the crops are also healthy. Okay, using manure and using organic farming methods. Yeah, so that's the third technique for weeding. And again, I also read somewhere that you can try and save cost, which in real sense I think there is no cost saving there, by creating your own weed killers at home by using hot water, vinegar and salt. Fantastic. It may work, it may not work, because what happens is when you spray on the leaves of the weeds, it will eventually die. So you will need to spray again because it has not killed the roots. So you need to spray again, and so it can kill the roots. So at least 3 applications of that to be successful. And what happens to the salt when the salt now mixes again with the soil? It also kills microorganisms in the soil, which now is another case. Salt remains in the soil, and what happens is now the cases of infertility of the soil, the microorganisms are dead, no crop is performing, and you'll be asking yourselves, hey, I have good soil, but I have no crop. It's because of the techniques you're using for weeding. So the use of salt and vinegar and hot water, for me, is still a no. It's a no for me. So that's the third technique, using the chemicals to kill the weeds. For the fourth technique, and it is the interesting technique that most Africans and especially Kenyans use, is taking your hoe and digging out the weeds. Just doing it even while just whistling, like how we do it here in Kenya. It's actually interesting because what happens is we have communal digging. It used to be there. Nowadays, I don't know what happened. I remember when we were going out to shambas as a community. So we would go today, we are going to shamba for Mr. X. The other day, we are going to shamba for Mr. Y. The other day, we are going to the shamba for Mr. A. And within 1 week, we have cleared like 100 acres of shambas combined, because it's the power of community, of communal support and communal systems that work properly. But now I think capitalism is too ingrained in us, and all that, and some aspects of socialism or togetherness, especially in the African aspect, is undermined and forgotten. But what do I say? Times change and we need to move with time. So a lot of mechanization as well has come in, and it has helped in a lot of things. The fourth technique now is using the hoe. Just take your hoe and uprooting the roots, the weeds by the roots. And what is said about weeding by the hoe is, you uproot the weeds before you even see them. And I know it's not possible, but think about it. I think it makes a lot of sense to have that in mind when you're doing the weeding. Like, I want to make sure that no weed will grow here, so I'm just digging out any kind of root or any kind of weed or seed or weed seed, and making sure that it won't grow. So it's the most effective method that is used. It's very labor intensive, but it's very effective at the end of the day. That is the fourth technique to employ. And guys, what you need to understand is weeding is a long life activity. It does not stop. Okay, so the best way that you need to make sure that you are doing the weeding is, one, by doing it every day. Do like 3 steps, 4 steps a day. The next day you do another 4 steps, another 4 steps. Within a week, you'll have cleared the whole shamba with weed, and making sure that now when you come in now where you started the first day, only small weeds that are visible, and then now it will become very easy for you to do the whole shamba. So it's an everyday task. If you're a farmer, you know that farming is an everyday task at the end of the day. The other thing is you need to have proper tools for doing weeding. Okay, you need to have your bucket with you if you use your weed as crop, or you use your weed for compost, or you need a gunia. A gunia is a nylon sack where you can now pack all this weed, take them to the compost pit, or just take them to the chicken coop. Or if you're rearing animals, you can feed them to your goats, you can feed them to your cows. They like a lot of weeds are delicacies for livestock. And again, on the flip side, a lot of weeds can kill your animal within a second. Okay, so you need to know which weeds to feed your animals and which feeds not to. If you want to experiment with your own. This is not my advice. For me, I know the weeds that I use to feed, and I will show you that to feed the chicken. But again, do your research, guys. As I always say in all my videos, is do your research. Do your research. Okay, know which weeds are good or which weeds are bad. Okay, cool. So those are the 4 techniques that I employ and that are used worldwide. Of course, I'm an organic farmer, so I will go for either hoeing or mulching, or the use of hand weeding. And for this case, I will go for hand weeding because I will use my knees and my hands, and I will go. Within 1 hour, I'm done with the row of spinach. I come to the whole row of tomatoes. I come to the whole rows of spinach or of collard greens and all that. Yeah, so that's an amazing technique for weeding. So most guys use weeding as well as therapy, me included. So what weeding does is, it helps you blow off some steam, and research has shown that when you dig, some microbes are released from the soil, and when you inhale these microbes, they will go in your body and they will help you increase in the levels of serotonin. Serotonin levels are increased, and you're just doing a plus to your health. So weeding does not only help the crops but also helps you as a farmer. So it's also a breath of fresh air. Like you're weeding the whole day, you're interacting with nature, you're grounding, because I also like weeding when I don't have shoes, so you're just grounding with the ground, which nowadays not many people are doing that, because you're just on your shoes, going to work, off work, your legs are on top of the couch, you're relaxed, you go and shower in your tiled bathroom, and repeat. So I think when you ground your feet, I think it also helps a lot of things in your health. I'm not that good in biology, but I can pick up some few things here and there. Yeah, good. So that's about weeding and the benefits it has to you as a farmer, to your crops, and to you especially health-wise. Yeah, so again, if you look at weeding as a benefit to you and to your crops, I think you will enjoy it as I enjoy it. Yeah, so that's my experience about weeding. The 4 techniques, the tools to use about weeding, the benefits of each technique, and the why I use and which I use, and how to use and how to weed. Amazing. So let's learn from each other. I believe iron sharpens iron. So comment on the comment box and let me know what I can change. Let me know the benefits of weeding, which technique that you use. Just comment and let's share. So I think that's my time. My name is Michael Abdul Malik. Weed properly and take care of the soil. So I would encourage you to use hand weeding, use a hoe or mulch. Okay, be as organic as you can, guys. Do your part in making sure that the soil is preserved and nature is preserved. Amazing. My name is Michael Abdul Malik from Country Farm. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, peace.